Hello guys, it's the Beast here and welcome to another World of Tanks review. This time we're gonna review the probably one of the best beginners tanks in World of Tanks, the Kv-1. So we're gonna start off by compare this tank to a variety of other tier 5 heavy tanks, and then we're gonna have some replays both by me and other players because I'm not that good, and then we're gonna see, is this really a great beginner's tank? Well, let's find out. So let's start with the comparisons. So let's get right into the comparison. So as we can see here from the beginning, the Kv-1, I use the 85 millimeters. You can use the 122 millimeters, but then you only have 61 millimeters of penetration but you do 450 damage. But I like to use the 85 millimeters, so that's the weapon we're gonna use with the comparison. So as we see in the beginning, the Kv-1 actually has pretty nice DPM of 2002, quite a lot better than the OA experimental, quite a lot better than Churchill and the VK, and 500 damage better than the BDR G1B, which is the French tier 5 tank. And now the penetration, it's a bit disappointing. It's only 120 millimeters, which is the worst of all these tanks, and so that's something. But remember, every keyboard has the 2 buttons, so that's great. So with the damage, it does 160, which is better than the VK and the Churchill, but worse than the 240 damage of the BDR and the enormous 300 damage of the OI experimental. So the rate of fire, as you can see here, is quite good. It's only beaten by the Churchill, and it has exactly the same as the VK, and it beats the OI and the BDR by quite a lot, by almost double, and which gives this tank a reload of 4.79 seconds, which is, as mentioned, exactly as the VK, and only a bit worse than the Churchill 1. So it's an 85 millimeter gun, as I said before, and it has a shell velocity of 792, which isn't that good, but if you're playing this tank, you shouldn't snipe. If you're top tier, you should be in the front, bouncing all those shots, but because of the incredible armor, which we're gonna get into a bit later. So it has the third worst of these tanks, but it's still okay, and a max range of 720 meters like all tanks. It has an ammo capacity of 76, which is much better than the VK and the BDR. Not as good as the Churchill, and not as great as the OI Experimental's 100 shells, which you can kill a whole enemy team without even losing half of your shells. So the aim time of this tank is quite disappointing, only 2.78, which is even worse than the OI Experimental, and that tank has 300 average damage. And yeah, and the accuracy is only 0.4, which is the worst again, and dispersion valves are not good either. Only the BDR has worse dispersion, and it has the same after firing as all the tanks, and after damage same as all except the VK. It has 24 degrees of gun elevation, which is much better than these tanks, well, 4 degrees better, which is quite nice. It has 7 degrees of gun depression, and I have the Churchill 1 and the OI Experimental and the Kv-1, so yeah, I know that the Churchill has a problem with gun depression, and with 7 degrees it's not as good as the OI Experimental, but it's still quite good. So now we get to the speed of this tank, which is quite good, 34 kilometers an hour. Certainly not as good as the OA Experimental, because that thing has a 1200 horsepower engine in a 100 ton tank, so yeah. But it has the third best I should say. Only 1 kilometer slower than the VK, and quite a lot faster than the BDR and the Churchill. But the reverse speed is only 10 kilometers an hour, so it feels quite slow when you're going backwards. But that shouldn't be a problem. Hopefully it isn't a problem, but it's quite slow backwards, so yeah. It has a 500 horsepower engine, which gives it a power to weight ratio of 10.23, which is better than the Churchill, but the other tanks have better. The terrain resistances are it's second to worst, actually, I should say, only beaten by the BDR, which has quite bad, actually, as I see now. I haven't had the tank, so I didn't know, but it seems like quite bad. But the turret traverse is 25 degrees, which is exactly like the VK, a bit better than the OI, and worse than the BDR and Churchill. And the tank traverse is 20 degrees, which is the worst of them all. But now we go to the armor. The Kv-1 has a hull armor of 75mm on the front, sides, and 70 at the rear, and 110mm all around the turret. It's only beaten by the Churchill's frontal armor, which wow, it's 177. I didn't think that, but I mean, I have the Churchill, but I don't think it's the whole front of the tank, because that would have been quite OP. But its armor, it actually has quite a good amount. It has a quite bad amount of hit points, should I say? Sorry, it only 640, which is worse than all of these tanks. And yeah, it's blind as bat because it's a Soviet tank. Why not? It has a 310 meters only, and it has a 15% chance to get on fire, and yeah, that's about sums it up, I think. So now you see the stats about the tanks. Now we're gonna quickly go into, actually we're gonna take a look at its armor, actually. So let's hop right into that. The 3D model. So if you see here from the front, if you meet one exactly from the front, I don't recommend you shooting at a lower plate. I think it's much easier to shoot here because it's only about 53mm armor. Never shoot here because, or you can shoot here a bit, but it's more armor. It's 116mm, and the lower plate is 87. But I recommend shooting here. You can shoot here too, but that's 81mm penetration. And the turret, well, this is the thing. It doesn't have that much armor, even though it says red. Some parts has 140mm of armor, but not all. But as you see, it has first a layer of 110mm, then 75, and yeah. So it's only about 110mm of armor. Oops, sorry, I'm not used to this one. And the cheeks, well, here you can see, right, if you manage to shoot right here, then it's 240mm armor, and here on the sides, well, you can have some pretty nasty angles, because if you take a look here, it's actually a bit sloped, so if you manage to hit here, you will always ricochet. But if a Kv-1 is angling his armor like this, okay, I don't manage to. Okay, now if he's angling his armor like this, then you don't want to shoot him in the sides here. But as you see here, his frontal armor is still only 60mm or 80 or 90, and the lower plate is about 105. So if he's angling his tank like this, I recommend you shooting here, because then you only need about 100mm of penetration, and you don't want to shoot at the turret because nothing good from there. And if you manage to catch one from behind, well, shoot here, because if you shoot the turret, you have actually quite a good chance of bouncing, because it has quite good armor. But this tank is not too good to artillery because it's only about 30 or 40 millimeters of armor. So you gotta be careful with artillery in these tanks. But anyways, that's quite enough of talking. So let's go and see some explosions and tanks. So yeah, let's get right into some replays. So for the first replay we have Kv-1, which he's actually using the 122mm gun, which you also can use, which is okay to use, but I don't use it because I like the 85mm more. And yeah, so I couldn't have any of my replays because they were too old, so the game just, it's opened, then it loaded, then the World of Tanks turned itself off, so it didn't work. So we have some other players replay. So yeah, Kv-1, he is playing on Siegfried line with his Kv-1, and he's have a wonderful matchmaking. So we're gonna see what he can do with it. So he's going to the town with it, which is quite the smartest thing to do because you're a heavy tank. And here you can see the mobility of this tank, which isn't the best. So you can see his brother, the Kv-1S, he is already in front before him. So yeah, the movement could have been better, but it isn't. So the first enemy spotted here is the OI Experimental, another very good tier 5 tank. Oh guys, sorry. And we're gonna, I think he is, okay, he's not aiming this way, so he's just poking this corner, see if he can shoot anything. Nothing there. Now there's a T-67, and yeah, that's not something you could do with the 85mm gun, even if you loaded high explosive, which I think the damage goes up to 240. I may be wrong, but I don't know. So yeah, he is one shot, 360 damage, and his team is going quite aggressive actually. So he's going to the base because I think he saw that Panzer 4-5 and he wanted to defend the base. So he goes back to defend the base, and he's looking back to see if he can put any shots into some tank, but he don't, so he keeps going. And this T-67 is totally crushing that Panzer. So let's see, can he get a kill? Yes, we can, like Barack Obama says. Nice. So 2 shots, 2 kills, 441 damage, but he isn't done yet, I promise you. He isn't done yet. So now he's side scraping here. Guess it's because he's maybe afraid of the OI Experimental to go forward up there, because he has a serious gun which can easily penetrate him if he aims right, which we know some people just right click and fire because they can, sort of. Yeah, so he's a bit camping. We're gonna speed this up a bit, and now he spotted Kv-1 behind him. See that turret armor, 110mm. He bounced him. Maybe it's because it was a crazy angle, but still he bounced him. So there you can see the turret reverse, which isn't the best, and yeah, that's never gonna penetrate, but at least he tracked him. And now he's loading. After this shell he will be loading the heat. So a nice shot there, 185 damage, and yeah, now he got a hit right with this heat shell. So a nice lame shot finishes him and does 311 damage. But now there's a Skoda here, which I think took a bit. I think he underestimated the reload of this tank and the gun too. So he's dead 450 damage, quite a nice roll. And well, this is that's just unfair. That's really unfair. So yeah, suddenly he's up with 5 kills and 1700 damage. Maybe I should try to get this gun. Maybe. So as you can see, his team is melting. Only two tanks left, or 1 tank left and an arty. And he is going for this Panzer Kampfwagen 4H. Let's see what he can do with him. Okay, he don't pen that shot, but is he going to? Yes, he didn't do any damage, but well, he had to be careful there because he could have damaged his own gun. That has happened to me quite a few times. And oh, luckily he bounces the OI experimental. He does a snapshot but misses, and the Arctic actually kills him. That's nice. He could have aimed that shot a bit better, but yeah, I can't blame him. I mean, 6 kills, 2300 damage. I would probably have done that too. So yeah, he's backing off maybe to put a shot into the Durchbruchwagen too, but he didn't. So now he's alone against 5 enemies. So let's see what he can do with that. So now this Durchbruchwagen is going. Can he put a shot? Yes, he can. Nice. 7 kills, 4 tanks left, or for real 2 tanks left and 2 arty. So now this, can he put a shot into him? No, he doesn't fire. And there you have it. Now there's just a T1 heavy and 2 arty. Oh my god. Hope he doesn't does he? Oof, 208 damage. Well, he may need that hit points. But yeah, 9 kills. And the T1 heavy is cheeky. He's trying to get him from behind. But he saw him. So now he's starting to side scrape. So he hopefully doesn't. And there is. Oof, that was close. If he hit him, he would be a 1-shot for that T1 heavy. That wouldn't be good. Now he's backing off. Maybe he can get inside of the T1 heavy. Yes, he can. And now there's just 1 tank left. STP said 2, and he decided to go for the cap, which I think was the right thing to do, because that arty could be anywhere. Now he says next please in chat. Let me just, oops, sorry for that. Perfect. He's just gonna cap the base, and yeah, so this was the first replay. I hope you liked it, and yeah, so let's take a look at, we will have another game, then we take a look at the post-game stats, and then we're gonna take the post-game results. And this matchmaking was fantastic. Tier 5 maximum battle, not the best players on the enemy team, but what about the tier 7 game? What can a Kv-1 do then? Well, let's find out. So this time, with not so great matchmaking, we have MK25121994 playing in his Kv-1 with the 85mm gun this time. So yeah, I'm gonna call you MK just because I don't want to say all those numbers. So yeah, this time we have MK in a not so good matchmaking, and we're gonna speed this up a bit. And so he's trying to hit that T-37. He misses his shots, and he gets spotted. So he is getting out of there. And so we're gonna speed this up a bit too, because as I said, not the fastest tank in the game, He misses those shots too. Not this hasn't gone that well yet because he's missed stalled shots. But now he get in a shot in the T34-100 or the T34-85 on steroids that people say also. So he keeps him tracked and dodges a shot and he gets away, but he tracked him, so yeah, that was nice. Now he's shooting now MK is shooting this VK. MK is shooting this VK. He tried to track him too. He had a repair kit, so he drove away, but he got in one shot at least, so that's good. Now he's progressing forwards to maybe to defend the cap circle. We'll see. And suddenly a wild AMX M445 was spotted, and yeah, as you see, he must have quite a good crew because my reload isn't this good, but his reload is fantastic. So he's trying to track him, which he's doing quite often actually, but it's good because that makes the enemy stay. Good, now I can talk. And here we have a rival tier 5 heavy tank, the T1 heavy, which I also have, which is quite good. Wow, now that I think about it, I have quite a few tier 5 heavy tanks actually. Does that mean I'm a seal clubber? I don't know. But he's doing great work tracking him and repeatedly shooting him, and now he got the T1 heavy, so he's going forward for this VK, I think. The thing I would maybe have done is to kill the M4A2 first, but now he has got ammo racked, so yeah, I don't think he noticed that ARL. Now he did, so yeah, now his team are just gonna, now he's gonna go get some, try to shoot that VK. Actually does some damage. Oh, he was firing high explosive, and the replay's over. I didn't have time to pause there, so yeah. Now I have had two games with one with great matchmaking and one with not so good matchmaking, and yeah, so let's take a look at the post game results. So let's get into the post game's result. Yeah. So for the first replay we had Jackie playing on Siegfried line. He got Ace Tanker, Hand of God, Bruiser, Duelist, Fire for Effect, Shell Proof, and now to the good things. He got Pools Medal for his 10 kills, Color Battle, so standing alone against 5 enemies and win, Steel Wall, High Caliber, Invader, and Top Gun. So he ended up doing 3,586 damage, probably more than almost, well, as it seems, he did more damage than his whole team combined, and he did quite a lot more damage than all the enemies also, and he got 2015 experience. He should have got 2016 because I don't think I need to explain that though, but yeah, and he's got 10 kills too. So he fired 17 shots, 15 hit and 15 penetrated. Well, actually not 15 penetrated, but they all did damage, and a few of them penetrated. So as I said before, he did 3,586 damage. He received 14 shells, 5 penetrated and 9 didn't, which proves that this tank still has quite good armor. And he blocked a total of 1,030. He spotted 3 enemies, he damaged 10 and destroyed 10. And he got 38 in assistance damage. He captured for 100 points and defended for 19. And he received a total of 46,488. After resupplying ammunition and repairing the vehicle, he earned a pretty nice profit of 20,000. And it was a times 3 event, so we got 6,045 experience. So yeah, that was Jack's replay. So let's take a look at MK's replay. So MK, he got high caliber on Winterberg pretty much here. So yeah, he ended up doing most damage, 2,951, and he also got 1,819 experience for his almost 3,000 damage in a tier 7 game. He fired 30 shots, 25 hit and 20 penetrated, and he did 3,000 damage. He received 9 shells, 3 penetrated and 6 didn't. He received 550 damage and he blocked 1,005, and which gave him a potential damage of 1,560. He damaged 6 vehicle and destroyed 2. He got 35 damage of detecting and 1,274 for detracking, which he did all the time. And he received 44,686 credits, and after resupplying the ammunition he earned 38,000. And it wasn't his first win of the day, so he got only 1,819 experience. So yeah, that sums it up of the Kv-1. So I hope you liked this video. If you learned anything and maybe you want to get this tank, leave your opinion in the comments down below and tell me what you think about the Kv-1. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I see you in the next video. Bye!